Overwatch 2 is probably one of the only games out there that truly rely on team-based decisions. What I mean by this is that you cannot single-handedly as a Reaper go in and expect to wipe out the team like a game like Valorant. This is one of the only games where it actually relies on team-based plays to be able to determine the output of a match. And we all know that Overwatch 2 is just a huge over 1 update. So how are each of the heroes in Overwatch 2? We'll rank them in a tier list. Hey, hello, what's up, whatever, to new boy Les Swiss, or you can call me Les for short, and welcome to a new video. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Over here on the tier list, I have every single hero that is currently on Overwatch 2, and we're going to rank them all in this tier list. Who will be ranking them by? You'll see. And we're going to start with the tanks. Now Zarya, right off the bat, I'm going to shove at A tier. Yes, this is pretty bold, and I'll explain why. A lot of people have been complaining about Zarya as a hero, that she is too overpowered, and her bubbles are absolutely broken. But to be honest, in my experience in Overwatch 2 so far, I've never really run into Zaryas where the bubbles were a huge game changer. And even as someone who played tanks a lot, okay, well, doesn't play tank a lot, I would say Zarya does indeed take quite a bit of skill, and I think that does come into effect considering the fact that you need to bubble other people. So you need to bubble at the right times for other people and yourself, and you also need to watch yourself because you're a tank. Tank right now is a pretty heavy responsible role because you're the only tank. Reinhardt, S tier hero. Rein's over there because Rein actually does take skill to be able to use effectively. Reinhardt is one of those heroes that actually takes skill to use, and when you've got a sense of how Reinhardt works, and when you learn him as a hero, you can become an absolute beast. I've seen terrible Reinhardts and I've seen excellent Reinhardts. Definitely an S tier hero in my opinion, and completely balanced for the most part. Wrecking Ball, I'm gonna go B tier. B tier because of the lack of people actually playing Wrecking Ball, but not D because... Actually, you know what? They'll put him C tier. I have run into games where Wrecking Ball can be an absolute nuisance, knocking people off points into out of the map. Overall, I do think he is a decent tank if you are well aware of how to use him, and I know that does require skill, but overall, not really the tank anyone would play, really. Winston, I'm also put at A tier. Yes, I have run into Winstons where they are absolutely terrible as putting us in our place. Actually, I'm gonna put Winston in B tier.
Oh my god, bro.
I mean, I don't play tank, like I said, so my opinion on this may not really be that great, but I've just seen Winstons. I've seen too many Winstons being able to change the pace of the game, and being the most annoying pieces of garbage. And I believe that doesn't require a lot of skill. Like, anyone could play Winston if they wanted to. I mean, not to say that Winston doesn't require any skill. I think he does, but I don't think it's a lot compared to Reinhardt, for example. Roadhog is also going to be a B tier, right behind Winston. I would say that he is way too independent as a tank. Now the hook, it's a great idea, but right now you can hook like a Brigitte through her shield, which I think is absolutely stupid. I don't know if that works on Reinhardt. That could potentially be a thing as well. But right now all you just do is left click, and you know, if you're dying, you just drink the heal thing. I mean, to be honest though, it does take some time and some skill to be able to use the hook effectively and be devious with it. Right now Roadhog doesn't have a real counter and doesn't really fully need to rely on his teammates to be able to dominate. And you know, with some tweaking and adjustments, you can be good. Last and definitely not least, Orisa, and I'm also gonna put her in S tier. As much as complained about Orisa on launch, I found out she's actually not that OP as people claim her to be. I've definitely been able to deal with Orisas. Yes, Orisas are annoying, but I do think it does take you know, quite a bit of skill to be able to fully master Orisa by relying on her teammates and being able to utilize all the abilities correctly and whatever, and that's why she's an S tier. And that's all for tank.
Irrelevant.
Now we're gonna move on to damage. Now first off, we have Ashe. I'm gonna put her in A. I think that she's pretty good damage, has some nice abilities that you can play around with, and does definitely require an aptitude of aim, aka skill, to be able to use. You can't just run and walk willy-nilly or just hold left click and expect to do some damage. And also positioning too, you know. I just generally think that Ashe, even with her ult, requires some aptitude of skill to be able to use and correct timing. She's definitely a good hero. I like her. And my friend Bastion is B tier, but I'm gonna put him after Roadhog. Now everyone knows how broken Bastion was on launch, and even just the turret It's kind of crazy, but they nerfed him heavy to the point where he has really low HP. I've killed Bastions so quickly. Bastions definitely cannot function by themselves in any means because they can just get deleted in seconds. I would say that is a contemplating Bastion, but then again, Bastion can really do some good damage output with his turret, even now, which is crazy. And I'd even want to say that Bastion right now even requires some type of skill, but no one really wants to play him because he has a low amount of health, and that's where the skill comes in. You're gonna have to learn how to balance doing damage damage and balance covering yourself up and, you know, relying on supports a little bit. Not that I've really played Bastion, to be honest, but that's my opinion on what I've seen. Next, I'm gonna put McCree, aka Cassidy, in A tier before Ashe. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put him after Ashe, and I'll put Zarya in the middle here. McCree in Overwatch 1 is kind of similar to the McCree in Overwatch 2, but McCree definitely does require some aim training or just sense of good aiming and good timing when to fire shots. And I'm really divided in putting him before Zarya simply because of his E. So basically, McCree can throw this kind of grenade that can stick onto people. It's like a magnet. It kind of directs itself to the person. So if you're facing the person in your field of view and they're to your right and you throw the bomb, then the bomb will attract itself to them like a magnet, and it does a lot of damage. And I'm really divided because I want to put him either at the back just because of that, or in the middle. Actually, you know, I'm gonna put him here, but we'll continue with the tier list and I'll make some more adjustments. To kill a normal damage, you just need to shoot them once with McCree and then throw a bomb, and then that's basically the end of their career. So I'm not saying it doesn't require skill, but given that he has this right click and on top of that now he has this grenade thing, it kind of helps him in close quarters a little too much. It's not like I'm hating on the grenade. I'm definitely not hating on this grenade at all. If they just remove that, you know, magnetic attraction thing or make it less strong, so then it would encourage more accuracy for McCree players, then cool. But for now, he's there. Oh wait, actually, I'm such an idiot. Tanks, the sequel, let's go. All right, Doomfist. He's an S tier behind them all. Hear me out. People say that Doomfist sucks basically, and people have had their accounts reported because they play Doomfist in competitive games. And I'm here to say that you just need to get good. Doomfist right now, I don't know what it is, but in comp games, you know, if you really play Doomfist, you can actually play really, really well. The skill of the player, it really is game changing when it comes to Doomfist. A lot of people complain that he's weak, but I just think that you need to develop that skill of being able to use Doomfist effectively in order to be able to use him with full potential. Because I've seen it a lot. People complain that he's weak as hell. Yes, he might be weak. I don't know if it's him being weak or you not utilizing the abilities properly. For now, I would say he's pretty solid, maybe not a solid tank, but he's definitely a solid hero. All right, I'm gonna take D.Va and put her in the far end of B tier. Not to say that she's a bad hero or anything. It's either B or A. I would say overall, D.Va is pretty balanced, but one of the more weaker heroes, I would say, in terms of tanks. She can block bullets for a brief amount of time. She can shoot rockets. She has infinite bullets. Her ult makes a huge explosion thing, which could be game changing, not to dismiss that at all. But overall, yeah, she's an alright hero. I don't think it takes that much skill to be like, alright, bet this is how I play D.Va effectively type thing, you know? Now we have Sigma, who I'm gonna put after Doomfist. Now Sigma's one of the new heroes in Overwatch 2, and I would say that he's a pretty solid hero. He's currently a tank, and to be honest, him being tank is pretty sick. He definitely requires a type of skill to be able to use him. You can't just go willy-nilly and expect, you know, stuff to happen. There's definitely been some good Sigmas, there's definitely been some bad Sigmas. Actually, I kind of take that back. I'm gonna put him down here after Zarya. I wouldn't say he's a S tier hero actually. Solid hero, but in terms of tank, not sure. Yes, it's kind of funny how I'm putting Sigma before Doomfist, but Sigma with the support of his team, definitely a solid hero, I would say, in terms of tank. Okay, back to damage. Now we have Echo, who actually, nah, let's move this here. Now, I've only barely seen Echoes, just like how I've barely seen Wrecking Balls. And to be honest, every time I see an Echo, definitely hard to deal with. Echo does definitely require skill, but as a hero, she's pretty non-existent, not because of her pick rate, but even just how she plays generally speaking. She's basically the type that stays in the air, which to be fair is a good counter if you're playing against maybe Pharah or Mercy, and you know, just something to annoy the enemy team. Okay, we have Genji. Dude. Now, as of recently, and I don't know why, I have not been seeing a lot of Genjis, but Genji is just so annoying that I actually have to be true to myself and just put him after, yeah. Now, Genji, I would say, is all over the place as a hero, and I mean his movement. He can be so disorientating to a player, one of the most mobile heroes in Overwatch 2 at the moment. I wouldn't say it takes that much skill to be able to play a Genji, but I can see that if you actually poured hours into Genji, that should be a really dangerous Genji. And that's why I put him in B tier over there. Wait, I forgot one more tank. God's sakes. Now we have Junker Queen. I'm gonna put her before Zarya. Actually, no, that's disrespectful. Junker Queen, kind of similar to Sigma, where she's not really independent. It does take kind of some skill to be able to master her and know how to use her. And her ult definitely does require some timing and positioning to be able to utilize properly. She's definitely one of those heroes where, you know, could be very dangerous. But as a tank, she'd probably be really good on some semi type of flank. I mean, but yeah, don't really have any issues with Junker Queen. It just doesn't get picked enough, I think, but that's just me. Okay, back to the damage. Okay, next we have Hanzo. I'll put Hanzo over here. Now, one thing for sure is that you cannot just expect to play Hanzo and get kills. You need to learn how to aim, seeing as he's by no means hit scan or, you know, right click and just pray that he dies. Hanzo, you need some prediction. You need the time when you shoot. Definitely need to know how to shoot it. He's definitely one of those heroes where, and I dare do say it, hate to say this, but if you get a headshot as Hanzo, then it is fully deserved. Yes, even in the instances where it is by accident or where he tries to aim for someone else but he shoots you in the head instead type of situation, it's unfortunate, but it is fully deserved. That's because of what is entailed with Hanzo, which is why I believe that headshots should be one shot. Definitely is deserved for him. And yeah, if you play Hanzo and are learning Hanzo, good luck, but I freaking hate you. Next hero, Junkrat, and I want to put him over there. Now, allow me to explain. Junkrat can shoot bombs, he has some C4 things which can launch him in the air and also launch other enemies into the air or push them away, however you might use them. He also has a trap, which is pretty useful. Yeah, he just shoots bombs. That's his whole thing. Now, he's an S tier because I think he's quite good. He can melt shield, but he's definitely not easy to use in close or far ranges. And that's where I think those situations come in where it's like, okay, you do need some skill. And I'll explain the close and range ones in a moment because I know that people are freaking out about that. So let's say you're in a situation where you're out of C4s. Now, all you're doing is just left clicking. And let's say, now, depending on who's in the room with you, you need to be able to like out predict them or, you know, run away. You just need to make that executive decision to be like, okay, can I actually bop them in this room and they're moving around me, confusing me? Because Junkrat's on hit scan. Not to say that his bombs are predictable, but you can see them from a mile away sometimes. But I do definitely think he is definitely good as a hero. Definitely does contribute to the Overwatch 2 hero roster. Mei is the most broken damage in this game and possibly the most broken hero that I've ever went up against. So in Overwatch 1, basically, if she held her left click against you, you would slow down and eventually go into a state of freeze, which means that you can't move or do anything. Now in Overwatch 2, there was a nice change that you don't actually get frozen, meaning that you at least have a chance to fight. But my issue with her left click is that she melts. Your health can decrease so fast because of that, making her arguably, I want to say, one of the easiest heroes to be able to learn. And also apparently she has like this game-breaking glitch which hasn't been fixed, which is also another reason why she's in D tier. I'd say her ult is also pretty solid, but decreasing the range would make all the difference. Decreasing the range of her left click and even just the amount of damage it does, and also decreasing her ult radius could, you know, bring her up a lot. And I'm gonna pick Reaper, who I also put in A tier, but ahead of Sigma. Now Reaper is similar to Junkrat, where he does a big amount of damage and just melts health. But Reaper is the type of guy that usually does better in mid to close range combat rather than far, leaving him more options than Junkrat to be able to melt either armor, shield, whatever. I would say the Reaper overall is a balanced character and does take quite a bit of skill to be able to use. You need to be able to center on the target that you're able to shoot to be able to do as much damage as possible. There have been situations where I haven't centered right on a Moira and shoot them like a million times, wasting a whole mag, and they never die. And there have been situations where I've two or three shotted Moiras to death because I centered correctly. Reaper is easy to learn but hard to master, if that makes sense. Okay, not hard, but harder. I'd say his teleport is pretty balanced too. Overall, I would say pretty balanced hero and pretty good. Sojourn, I'm putting her over here. If you played Overwatch 2, you know how absolutely broken she is. So Sojourn is basically a very mobile character as well, and she has a gun which is hit scan. She has a right click which is able to shoot like this beam, and she also has this ability where she can slide and basically jump, similar to bee hopping. And she has another ability where she like shoots this energy beam ball thing. It's basically a half circle and you get damage damage when you're within it. Now hearing this, you'd think like, okay, she sounds like a pretty solid hero. And unfortunately, she isn't. Now seeing as Sojourn is a pretty mobile hero in some aspects, she was thus gifted with no recoil while shooting her gun. Now this is understandable, seeing as, you know, she'd be in the air sometimes, but it's just like, give her some recoil, man. Her gun has a high fire rate and it's basically accurate as hell. Like some recoil, I swear there was a time when I was in a deathmatch just fooling around before a game and I just shot her gun and it straight up just did not move. And on top of the high fire rate, because of that, she melts. And also her energy beam thing, it can cover a pretty wide area, I would say. Now, you know, cover a doorway, you know, that's okay. But it's just like it covers a wide area and it's able to melt your health too. A lot about her is currently broken. Nah, yeah, let's do that. She's in D tier for these reasons. Please balance her. I would say the whole concept of Sojourn is good, but she's just very overpowered at the moment. The next one we have is Pharah, who I'm going to put after Genji actually. Pharah is able to do a lot of damage, but she is so powerful to the point where you need to be like, okay, I need to change characters just to be able to deal with her. And I'm gonna say the same thing I said about Reaper. Pharah is easy to learn, but harder to master. And even though she has huge damage output similar to Junkrat, I would say, I mean, I don't know exactly the amount of damage they do, but you know, bombs, boop, kaboom. But she's over there at B and not in like a lower tier because of the fact that you could absolutely beam her health into oblivion, similar to Bastion. Actually, just because of that, no, she can fly. That's the most annoying part about it. She is game changing to the point where it's not fun. I mean, to be fair, all of these heroes could be game changing if you know how to play them well. And we have Soldier 76, who I want to put at the bottom of S rank. Soldier 76 is similar to Sojourn, where he has a gun, he shoots people, you know, but except Soldier 76 has recoil. Now Soldier 76 is one of those heroes which are very similar to shooter games, but like best introductory hero. He can shoot bombs, he shoots guns, he's able to sprint, and he has this little like own heal pool thing that he could do for himself. So debatably independent as a damage, but he does require quite a bit of skill because, well, you need to learn how to aim. If you have devious aim, you're going to change the game. He can work in all types of ranges, and he's one of the main hit scans that you usually see in comp. But yeah, if you get good with him, then you can definitely change the game. And his ult, I would say, is pretty balanced. I would say that overall Soldier 76 is much more balanced than he was in Overwatch 1. Now we have Sombra, who I'm going to put at the middle of C tier. Sombra, as of recently, I haven't been seeing a lot of Sombras, but in the beginning of the game, I see a lot of Sombras. Sombra has this ability where she can make herself go invisible. And in this duration, you can use all your other abilities, but within a certain range of another person, you are able to get detected. But in terms of the meta that people use her for, it's definitely broken. If I'm being completely honest with you, she's annoying because as soon as you know, let's say you've detected the Sombra and you start shooting her, she's almost dead, she can just TP away into some other location, because she has this thing which can make her teleport, like a tactical insertion. It's literally dealing with rounds and rounds of Sombra annoying you or killing your teammates even. Now, a change I would suggest is that Sombra's teleport works within a certain radius, and if she's out of that radius in relation to her teleport, then it wouldn't work. Though I would say her ult it's good. It's good if used correctly at the right time. Solid concept just needs quite a bit of reworking. And we have Symmetra, who I'm going to put in A tier for Hanzo and after Junker Queen. Now Symmetra has these turrets which can basically shoot the enemy if they are within a certain radius of it. Now you can't just put turrets willy-nilly, otherwise it will get destroyed by the enemy team. And she also has a teleport. Now this teleport, in my experience, not really that useful. I've tried to find useful ways to, you know, use it, but not really, you know, finding a way. But overall, I'd say she's pretty alright. Her left click, I like how the way that works. The fact that, okay, you need to shoot the enemy in order for, you know, you to be able to do more damage. In the beginning of the game, yes, I probably would have said that she's kind of broken, but now I realize that it does take some skill, and I say that as a dude who does play Symmetra. And now we have Torbjorn, who I'm gonna put after Symmetra. Torbjorn has a similar left click, where it's not hit scan, you just kind of shoot and you have to be predicting with it, you know, that type of thing. But Torbjorn, similar to Symmetra, has a turret. And I would say that it does typically take more skill to be able to use Torbjorn compared to Symmetra, and it's definitely skill that does pay off, because you can be a new Torbjorn and expect to be dropping 20. Turret placement, fixing your turret and knowing when to shoot. These are all things that you need to account for. Oh, well, there's also a bunch of other factors I didn't mention. His ult can also be very game changing, especially if you're playing on escort. And I like the variation that they gave with his right click, that yes, he could left click to shoot at long ranges and do more damage, but also a right click which is more of a burst similar to Roadhog when he shoots. And it's not exactly strong, but it's definitely useful. I mean, can be strong if you're good. And now we have Tracer, who I'm going to put after Genji before Pharah in B tier. Now, I don't see a lot of Tracers, but they can definitely be very, very annoying with her blinks. And currently Tracer has like a game-breaking bug too, where she like has, I don't know, infinite range. I don't know what it was, but she has like a lot of range to be able to shoot and be able to like basically snipe kill people. And she has really, really small hitboxes. So the fact that she has like a lot of mobility and a very small hitbox to be able to, you know, deal with that mobility is kind of broken, I can't lie. Because she can basically teleport in front of herself, you know, reverse back and get the health that she lost. And also, which honestly was much more better, I would say, in Overwatch 1. For Tracer, I would say the hitboxes are just a little too small for my liking. But she does, I guess, require some skill to be able to play more than Genji, less than Pharah. I'm lying. What am I saying? Now we have Widowmaker, who I'm also going to place in A tier. Widowmaker's a sniper. If you hold her right click, then you can basically ADS, but then you have to wait until it fully charges up to be able to do the maximum amount of damage that you can with it. And it is also a one-shot headshot depending on the hero that you are. It definitely does take quite a bit of skill to use. Yes, she does have really small hitboxes similar to Tracer, but I think she does overall compensate in terms of that. And also she's above Hanzo because I would say her ult is better in the sense where it's more informative, basically shows where each player is on the map, and you can make curated attacks or defenses in accordance with that. So I would say, yeah, pretty nice. All right, last but not least, we have the supports. Now there's Ana, which I'm going to put in A tier above Widowmaker actually. Overall, Ana's pretty balanced. You definitely need to develop the skill to be able to shoot moving Genjis. Pretty solid support as well. I just like her, you know, haven't really ran into any broken issues with her. She's not overpowered, but she's not underpowered. And we have Baptiste, who I'm gonna put after Ana. Yes, you would say that Baptiste is much easier to use, but I think that both Ana and Baptiste have their own challenges as supports, and which is why when you start to learn and master them, then you can become really good supports. Even with Baptiste ult, so game changing. Really good support. And we have Kiriko, who I'm gonna put at S tier above Soldier though. Above Soldier and Doom actually. Similar to Hanzo, she doesn't hit scan. She just kind of shoots her kunai, and you have to time it. Besides that, she can heal. Kiriko also has an ability where she's able to teleport herself from person to person, so it's not like Moira where she kind of fades away. She literally can just teleport to another person, which is useful. And I definitely think Kiriko is a character that does need skill to be able to become a beast with, not only for offense but for defense. And her ult does require timing and proper positioning to be able to use properly, so then you're able to capitalize, and it is game changing, and I think that it is well deserved. Right now, I'd say Kiriko pretty balanced and pretty nice as well. Now Brig, I'm gonna put her B tier. Better than Winston, not really better than Diva. I've never really seen a lot of Brigs. I mean, I've seen enough to be able to form like a proper opinion on her, but regret is just nerfed Reinhardt. I think with her being melee kind of takes away from the fact that she is a support hero. In order to be able to do some damage, you're gonna have to be on the front lines, you know, and depending on the push, yes, that is very good. And I would say that yes, she does require skills to be able to use effectively. Can't just go willy-nilly. Similar to Reinhardt, but I would say easier than Reinhardt. And her eel output is kind of debatable. I wouldn't say I'm really with it, to be honest, but you know, everyone has their own opinion. Her ult is pretty useful, similar to Lucio, and also allows her to be able to be fully defensive with her teammates. So pretty solid. But you know, not exactly the best support if you're trying to go for healing or just being a support at all. And now we have Lucio, who I would put after Zarya in A tier. Now there's nothing I would say exactly broken with Lucio. It's just the way that he is as a hero. It's just, it's kind of like, he's alright, I guess. Lucio definitely does require some skill. I've learned that the hard way. And he is a pretty solid support in all fairness. And his ult, when timed right, could be really game changing. So overall, pretty good character, but I can't really put my finger on why I don't exactly like him as a hero. Mercy, I'm going to put her as an S tier hero. Before Kiriko actually. Okay, yeah, this looks much better. Now Mercy's the big heals, alright? If you want to do some healing, you go for Mercy. Now Mercy can give you a damage boost or a heal. I'm definitely one of those supports where you require time and skill to be able to use. It's more than just giving them a damage buff or healing them. Because she has this ability where she can fly, which requires a lot of skill to be able to master, because it's not like you have the freedom to fly. It's just kind of like a thrust into the air. She has another ability where she can revive. Overall, Mercy pretty balanced, yes, but the enemy team is often going to be after that Mercy because of the fact that she can heal so much. much. Yeah, she does have a gun, but it does like 20 damage per hit. Doesn't really matter. Solid hero, solid support, approved. Now we have Moira, who I'm going to put as an A tier above Reaper. Moira is a good example of a DPS support. She's able to do a lot of damage. Overall, she's really balanced. I don't really have any qualms with it. She has a very good ult, I would say, where it can damage the enemy and also heal your friends at the same time. And if you really need a good push, then that's the ult to go to. As much as it sometimes sucks to go against Moiras and the fact that they can right click and it just snaps the grid on you, I would say it is pretty good. However, overall, she is a good hero. I would say that she is a good support. Now, last one, I would say Zen, who I would put below Lucio. Now, I've never really played Zen, so I don't exactly have a well-formulated opinion on him. He does have a game-changing ult where he basically is immune to damage and his allies are also immune to damage, similar to Lucio's. Now, he's not hit scan, so you definitely need to get good with the prediction plays, though his health can get really drained so quickly. Definitely one of the easier heroes to be able to kill. But apart from that, I don't know, it's pretty solid, but not exactly that high on the list, I would say. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of rearranging to be able to get the final tier list. I think this is my list. The Overwatch 2 heroes ranked based off not really specific information. So if you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you do want to, of course, know if you can check out my other videos or past streams, or whatever the case may be, then please do subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated if you do want to, of course. Now, Real Deal Esports is hosting a giveaway. You can check out the giveaway on Twitter, and if you want more information on the giveaway, you can join the Discord server, link in description. The giveaway is basically a voucher. Now, I know one of the options is Steam, and who doesn't want games? The other option is Mr. D Food, and the other option is Takealot, which is an online store. Now, if I was you, I'd personally take the Steam gift card so I can get some more games, but that's just me. And you know what it is, guys. Peace.